Thanks for tuning in to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices podcast. Our mission? I don't know what happened there. I apologize to everyone. But hey, welcome. So I'm live. I hope I'm live. And hopefully you can hear me. I went live the other day and nobody could hear anything that I was saying. So there was that. And so I got to do it again. So here I am by myself. And we're going to do this again. Now, if you're enjoying these podcasts, then make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There's a couple ways you can help support us. You can go into that website. There's a one-time donation link. You can become a patron with a monthly donation. Heck, we have merchandise for sale. We'll get you some cool merchandise. Or if you want to advertise, you can advertise right here on the podcast. Big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. You have to go check them out. It doesn't matter if you haven't heard of them or you have heard of them. Go check them out. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, I'm back here. I am screwing all this up, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I may have to go back, do it again. I'm not sure if I'm actually live or not, to be honest with you. Oh, I guess I am. All right. Nope, no, I'm not. No, I'm not live. Man, I don't know. I do not know. All right, let me try this again. Yeah, I'm not live on that. I am live up here, though. So thank you guys for that. And if I am live somewhere else, that's wonderful. If I'm not, hey, sorry. Yeah. Anyways, why am I here? Why am I talking about stuff? Well, hey, I got a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's been a lot happening recently, with the deaths, the lady that got killed. That was tragic in itself. The school shooting, again, another tragic event. And of course, Charlie Kirk's, whenever he got shot, assassinated, we'll say. But man, has that caused quite a stir. That's quite a stir everywhere, as a matter of fact, which is pretty crazy. And it got me to thinking. And, whenever I started thinking about this, there's a couple things that came to mind. And, one of those things, to be honest, I'm going to put it up here. Why are we so polarized? Why is everything so polarized on one way or the other? There's no in between. There's no compromise. There's no talking to one another. None of that stuff happens. And why? I have no idea. I'll be completely honest. I don't know. I don't understand. It's just craziness, sheer craziness to me. And I just got to figure out, for myself, like, are we too far gone? I think as a country, you have to ask yourself, are we as a country too far gone? There's so many times, like, you look in history, you look in Bible, right? You go to the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah. You look at the things that they were doing during that time. And us here in the United States of America, way, way, way beyond that. So what does that tell you? Well, tell you a couple of things, I suppose. One is we're not far from being destroyed ourselves, and there has to be a change. There has to be something, and I don't know the answer to it all, but I do know this, that we have forgotten what it's like to be humble. We've forgotten what it's like to understand that other people have different points of view, and that there's nothing wrong with that. That's everybody's point of view. And everyone's point of view is important. They should have a different point of view. It's not a big deal. But But you look on social media, man, social media, and don't get me wrong, I'm on social media. I do all this stuff too, but I try my best to not get wrapped around all the ins and outs, the political stuff going back and forth. I try to stay away from that as much as I can. And it's difficult, but we have to be able to talk to one another. We have to be able to just, you know, look and understand that that other person has a point of view, and that point of view is not always going to be what we think and what we believe in, which that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with somebody. So we have to figure that out, and the big question for me is, how do we get back to center? How do we get back to, instead of being on the right, on the left, far right, far left, how do we get back to center? Man, that's a question. That's a very interesting question, I guess you'd say. And I don't know. I don't know if I have the answer to that. But I'll give you my point of view and what I think that we should end up doing. I think we should end up turning to God, because in reality, that's the one that that matters. Say hi. This is Cat, my podcast partner. Anyways, so we got to get back to God, and He's really the only one that is going to be able to help us. We have to understand that when you're looking at all the stuff that has happened over just this past week, we'll just say this past week, there has to be a way, and that way is God. We all need to go back to Him. We all need to pray. We all need to start saying, you know what? Let's follow the guidance that was set forth in the Bible, and try to do good, because everything that's happening, it's not Republican versus Democrat. It's not the right wing versus the left wing. That's not what it is. It's good versus evil. That's really what it boils down to: good versus evil. And I'm not saying that good is on the right or good is on the left, and evil's on the right or evil's on the left. I'm saying that on the right and on the left, there's both good and there's both evil. And we have to recognize that. That's one of the hardest things to be able to recognize, is seeing that, you know what, there's evil, and we have to somehow get past the evil. And like I said, the one way to do that, in my humble opinion, is turning to God, saying some prayers, praying for those people that don't see things the way we see things, and praying that, one, hey, maybe God will show them the right way, or God will show us the right way, and we'll be able to meet in the middle at some point in time. But we got to defeat the evil. And you look around, man, there's plenty of evil to go around in this crazy mixed up world that we're in. So I don't know. I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere you turn on the TV, guess what? There's going to be evil craziness on there. I mean, there's so many movies, there's so many things that are there with the violence, right? I mean, for us today, violence is nothing. Like, I hate to say this, and I'm sorry, but what happened with Charlie Kirk, there were so many people that didn't even think twice about it, almost like it was a TV show. That's what it seems like, just because reality, it's not there. And holy man, I just, the loss of life that happened when it means nothing, and that life, that value of that person's life is not worth anything, and not worth our time to really think about it and say, you know what, there's some stuff going on there, and it should hit everybody right here, right? Because let's just be honest about it. If that was somebody in your family, right, that was your father, that was your husband, your wife, something like that, somebody in your family, even if they agreed or disagreed with something that you've done or you are doing, whatever, how would you feel personally? And I'm betting that every single one of us would probably not feel good about it. We'd be sad, we'd be upset, we'd be angry. And that just shows you how far gone that we really have become. And you can't just turn on the TV and turn on social media. Social media is getting worse and worse and worse. And now you never know what's real and what's not real. So you're getting mad about things that there's no reason to get mad about it, because there's no way to know what's real and what's not real. Years and years and years from now, the truth will come out. We're not going to know everything right now. And if you think that the politicians are telling us the truth, you're high on crack. I don't care. President on down. It don't matter who it is. I'm telling you right now, every single one of them makes some stuff up, and they tell lies. They tell half truths. They're not going to tell you everything. They're only going to tell you what pushes their agenda and pushes them forward. And we have to recognize that. There's so much good on both sides. And I think that's one thing that we miss out on, right? All the good that is happening, all the good that is in people, everybody out there that may take a chance and listen to this. There's good in you. There's good in everybody. But we have to capitalize on the good. We have to take a mentality and we have to move forward thinking and making a conscious effort to say, there's good in that person. I may not agree with that person, but there's good somewhere. It could be the most drugged out individual. It could be an alcoholic. It could be somebody addicted to something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Those are just some of the things that are on the top of my head, but it does not matter what people are going through. There's good somewhere. How do we capitalize on the good? How do we go in and say, hey, I want to do better. I want to make this better. I want to help this person, not help them see things the way I see things, but help them through life, help them through their troubles, their woes, their different things that are going on. I mean, come on, that's really what we need to be doing. We need to be helping our fellow man, helping our fellow woman. That's really the most important thing. And oh my God, we get wrapped around, oh, they believe a little bit different than I do. I'm here to tell you, in the big scheme of life, it does not matter. It doesn't. What you get so passionate about when you're talking politics and all this stuff, and you're just ridiculously passionate, I'm telling you right now, none of that matters. It does not matter. Because if you can't look at your fellow man, you can't look at your fellow woman and think to yourself that there's good in that person, that person means good by everything that they're saying, everything that they're doing, there's a problem. Now, does it go too far? Absolutely, because people get wrapped around it, right? You take the shooter that happened the other day, and the guy that stabbed the woman the other day. You get so ingrained in social media. We're horrible about this, and we do this all the time to ourselves because we want to polarize. Because why? That gives us likes, that gives us shares, that gives us all this other crap, and we don't need that. But it polarizes, and then somebody sees it only from one direction. They can't see that there's good in somebody. And so they continue down that road, and then it festers, and it just makes them want to do worse or do things and hurt somebody. And then we get to the point like we did this past week, going into a school, trying to shoot up some kids. Really? That's the answer? Shooting somebody that disagrees with us because of their politics? Stabbing somebody on a daggum train? Why? Like, I just don't get it. And it's beyond me. We have to do better. We have to figure this out. I would much rather people on social media, instead of getting on there and pushing one agenda or the other, let's get on there and start pushing positive things, right? Let's think back when I was growing up, the news would talk about positive things as well. Yeah, they would report the things, the accidents and the murders and the stuff like that. Yeah, they would talk about it. But you know what else they talked about? They talked about all the great things, the good things in life that are happening as well. And how often do we turn, especially the 24-hour news networks? Man, that's just constant negativity. And it's just too much. And once that 24-hour news thing, this is my personal opinion, once the 24-hour news thing happened, that's when, okay, everything, all of it went to the birds. I mean, because all we could talk about was the negative. All we could talk about was all the bad things that are happening, instead of going and looking for some of the good, because there is good that's happening, but we need to highlight the good. We need to highlight the stuff that charges us and uplifts us and makes us better people. That's what we need to do when we're on social media. So here's what I'm going to ask of you, right? The listeners, if you're out there, the probably 2 people that will watch this. And if you do, great. If you don't, then I'm talking to myself, and it's something I need to do. But we need to find things and do things on social media. And I challenge you to go on social media and post, but don't post negative things. Post things that are going to lift people up. Post things that are going to shine a light on the positive of what people do. Let's do that. Don't post the negative. Don't repost the negative. Don't let the agenda go. Look at the positive in people. Uplift those things, and let's let that become the norm. Let's let that be what it is that we as a nation start doing. And how do we do that? Well, it's simple. Find something positive in your life. Find something positive in somebody around you and what they do, and post about it. Don't post about the negative. Post about the positive. I'm probably guilty of it too. I've gone in and looked at it, and you know what? I want to be part of the conversation too. And then all of a sudden it just turns into a negative thing. And I don't want negative. I want positive. I want to be uplifted. I want to feel good about what we're doing, feel good about America. And let's just be honest. Are we too far gone? That's the question. I think there's great people out there. So I don't think we're too far gone. I think there's good that's happening. I see it. I see some of you that post incredibly positive things. You're always uplifting and things like that. That's perfect. And that's what we need to strive for. And here's what I would urge. Anybody that thinks that the right is correct or the left is correct and everybody else is wrong no matter what, I ask you to rethink it. Because it's not that. It's not Republican versus Democrat, the right versus the left. That's not what it is. Not at all. Not even close. It's good versus evil. And there's evil in this world. There's evil everywhere in this world. How do you combat that evil? Well, you got to think positive. You got to look around you at the good. You got to highlight the good. And when you see evil, stop it. If you see somebody doing something that's evil, that's going to hurt somebody, that's going to do something like that, stop it. And on social media, how do we stop stuff on social media? I'll tell you how most people do it. And this is what I've seen. Something happens, right? They've got their post that's up there. I disagree with that post. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get on there and I'm going to blast them and be like, hey, you're completely wrong. You're a piece of crap and da-da-da-da. And I'm going to go on and on and on and talk about them and how horrible they are. But you know what you should do? We should take a second, send them a private message. Say, hey, I think what you're talking about, that's hurting a lot of people. And maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should do something else, and go in and do it that way. Praise in public, criticize in private. If we took more of a chance on ourselves to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take a step back and only highlight the good in people, and then in public. And then if I have a criticism for somebody, I'm going to go behind the scenes and talk to somebody on a personal level. Just think how much better off we would be And maybe this can be a movement. Maybe this can be a time where we go in and we just start doing positive, and we try to do the good and show the good, and we just push that narrative instead of all the other crap. Find something every single day, post something good. Just one time, post something good, a positive, feel good type of story, something of that nature where you're out there, you're doing good things, or somebody else that you've seen, and highlight it. Talk about something good. Let's push that narrative. Let's get away from all the other stuff. Like I said, it's not the right versus the left. It's good versus evil. And in order to be evil, good has to do more. There has to be more good. And it's out there. Every single one of you do good things. Every single one of you out there do good things. We just don't highlight them all the time. Anyways, that's my thought. And had to come on here, do this. I apologize to everybody the other day. I tried to go live and my mic wasn't working. I really hope it's working now. I have no idea. It says it is because I'm using a different mic. And I did the test and it said it was working. So, hey, bonus. So hopefully it is. But yeah, I apologize. You know, technical difficulty. I played it and I had technical difficulty starting this thing out. I don't know what happened there, but I'm not perfect. But anyways, so let's highlight. I want to highlight some good that I've seen out there, some positives, people that go out there and put good stuff on their social media platforms, and they try to talk about good things. Linwood King down in Texas, he puts all kinds of good stuff on his social media. He's on TikTok. So all you TikTokers out there, you make sure you hit up Linwood King, Marine veteran, rock and roll star, man. He's down there doing some good stuff, but he does great. He posts incredibly cool stuff. He's always positive. He's always looking to highlight good. And man, it's an inspiration. It really is an inspiration. You guys got to go check him out. And he does some fantastic stuff. Let's see. There's so many others. I can't think of names right off the top of my head for whatever reason. Sergeant Major Fields retired. Yeah, that's another good one. Sergeant Major Fields. He's out there, man. He does some fantastic stuff. He does a lot of comedy and things of that nature. And absolutely hilarious for the veterans. You got to go check him out. He's a great guy. Very positive. He came on the podcast and we did his story. It was fantastic. I'm telling you, go back and check that one out. But he's another one that's a content creator out there doing positive things and showing the world in a positive light. And like I said, that's what we need. We need that. And you know what? There's going to be people that listen to this and be like, oh, you're just being hateful. You're being hateful to those that have an opinion. No, I'm not. I'm not being hateful to anybody. I'm just saying that there has to be a better way of doing it. You know, there has to be. Highlight the positive and good that's happening around the world. Highlight the good and the positive around you with the people and what they are doing. Make that happen. That'll make things better. I have messages, it says. I don't know what that means. I don't know. How do I see a message? Okay. It's telling me that some of my viewers haven't joined my something. I don't know what the heck it was saying. Haven't joined my fan club. I have a fan club. I didn't even know that. All right. Well, there you go. So it's interesting on the TikTokers up here. Anyways, all right. That's probably enough for me. If anybody's out there listening to this, or anybody decides that, hey, I'm going to tune into a fireside chat with me, then hopefully this hit home for somebody out there. I don't know if it will or if it has or whatever. I don't know. But hopefully it did. All right. With that, don't forget there's some cool merchandise out there, man. Go to it. Go to the website, thelostart.podbean.com. Yeah, go check us out there and try to help us out a little bit. Get you some cool merchandise, help support us, and show everybody who we are and let people know. And we're moving right along with these podcasts and getting veterans' voices out there. And it's been fantastic. We're moving right along, trying to get our nonprofit going. So we should hear back sometime in the near future about the nonprofit. I don't know when, but sometime. So hopefully we turn this into a nonprofit and move forward and do some good things with it that way. But hey, man, we're archiving stuff. It's good. This is a good thing for veterans, in my humble opinion. All right. With that, hey, like I always do at the end of a podcast, to all the veterans out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, don't forget that the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. The veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there and you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. I keep getting these messages on this TikToker thing, and I don't know how to, one new message. It keeps saying message. How do I get to the messages? I'm so confused. Anyways, I'll let that go. To all the listeners, as always, stay motivated, change your socks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices podcast. Our mission? Simple. Preserve history, one veteran story at a time. If you'd like to support this work, consider making a donation or sponsoring an episode. Every contribution helps us capture and share more stories for future generations. You can learn more and give at thelostart.podbean.com or by clicking the link in the episode's description. Stay motivated, change your socks, and remember, every story matters.